Welcome. It's time for Friday Night Marketing. We're gonna rock. We're gonna roll. Rock and roll. Get real and bold. Come on, join the show now. It's about to unfold. Get raw, get real, get results now. We're the latest feel, making waves loud. On this stage, we ignite. Every Friday night, brand new fight. Get real, get results now. We're the latest feel, making waves loud. On this stage, we ignite. Every Friday night, brand new fight. In the spotlight, feel the fever. Every pitch and quest. Dreams are big, get bigger tonight. Push the limits, reach new heights. So grab your seat, don't blink an eye. 'Cause Friday night will touch the sky. Welcome! It's time for Friday Night Marketing Raw! Boom! Shakalaka-laka-laka-laka-la! Welcome to Friday Night Marketing Raw. Ellie's there. Let's bring Ellie into the green room. I don't know where Kurt is. Kurt hasn't shown up yet, but maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Hi, Ellie. And the link's on the bottom of the screen and in the chat for anyone that wants to come and join us on camera, mic, whatever, and have a chat. Tell us what you're up to. Tell us what you're about, because this isn't the Kurt and Andy show. We do those in Society 11 on a Friday and a Wednesday. This is where we want to hear from you and have other people come on. So hopefully some people will be joining us. If they don't, it'll be a nice, quiet, quick, short night, won't it? So anyway, I don't have any topics or anything this week. The truth is, this week and last week, actually, I had to go to the end of the last week. I was away. I came back and I had the flu or COVID or something. I don't know which, because I didn't get tested. I just isolated, and I thought I was over the worst of it after a week of it. And then this week, it has continued to kick my butt. The cold's gone. The worst of the cough has gone. but my energy levels and things have been at an all-time low. It has been ridiculous. And here comes the Kurt. Here comes the Kurt.
What's up?
There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing okay. Achy and falling apart and whatever else, but
yeah.
But there we go. So we'll see how tonight goes. Here comes Mr. Mellor. Hooray!
Hello
good, because I've got very little to talk about because I've just been sick all week and not done anything.
Yeah.
It's but Mr. Stephen's been with me. Mr. Stephen, I had a look. But I got review access to Mr. Stephen's new thing earlier today, and I will be looking.
I've had a hell week of technology failing on me.
I saw you posted about that. What's been going on then?
Monday.
Fill us in.
Okay, so Monday, right before my stream, my trackball went. Just decided to give up with it. This is the one that I've just had to replace. It had been going for a little while, to be fair, and if I wanted to make it work, I had to bang it against something to try and actually make it. You know, British technology. That's the way we do it. You know,
it is. Hit it with a hammer.
Hit it with a hammer. So I got this lovely new one, which was a fraction of the price of the old one, but is essentially the same thing.
Right.
I like Logitech. They've done good stuff.
They do good stuff, yeah.
Got it
like
set up. They're very nice. Everything feels good with Logitech controllers. Anyway, it arrived. I got it set up. It was working. The keyboard decided to stop. So this was when I was actually meant to be doing the PDF for the course. So I couldn't design anything. And when the keyboard stopped, I suddenly ran into that problem of I don't have another keyboard in the house. So how do you? And I just thought, all right, well, there's touch typing is available. So I was very lucky that I'd already had a Google Docs open. Google Doc already has voice typing already in it, and I could type stuff in there and then copy and paste it to where I needed to until I got touch typing working on that. So that was. I thought, okay, well, that bad things have happened. I'm gonna be able to get on with stuff. So this was Tuesday. That was 2 days into product creation, which I usually would have finished a lot of stuff by then. And I was trying to get the review access out on Wednesday. Wednesday comes along, and my camera wouldn't work.
Oh, good Lord.
And I found out what it was. It was a loose connection in the I've got a little battery thing that plugs into the mains. Fix that. It's working again. Everything's fine. But again, took up more time than I actually wanted to do it. And then I actually got down to the recording of the videos, and I must have recorded them about 5 or 6 times, and I kept getting stuff wrong. And it's not something that I usually have to deal with because I'm pretty good at sitting and reading from AutoCue. And these aren't long videos. It's not like I'm making, hour long. The longest video in this course is half an hour, and it's the one where I show people how to edit the video at the very end, which you don't even have to do if you don't want to, but it needs to be in there. Anyway, so I got to the point where I was making those videos, the last sort of couple of things. I thought, well, this is going to be the easy bit because I know this. I know video editing. I decided to use CapCut for the very first time. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos to make sure that it did what I needed it to do. That's why I chose it in the first place. Opened up CapCut, and they have made a lot of the features that I wanted to use paid for only, which is not what I wanted. So I had to find ways of moving around that. So my whole day yesterday was trying to figure out how that I could get people to edit the way that I wanted them to be able to edit easily. And then recording it and getting something done. But I've done it. It's all ready. The course is all ready to go. I've not had the chance to edit the sales videos yet, but they are recorded. So that's the job for Monday. And once those are done, everything's ready. Even the custom GPT is ready. So, yeah. It's been a week.
It doesn't always happen like that, does it? I find if
always,
go wrong, it will be 3 things. My mum always says things go wrong in 3s. I don't buy into that completely. It's just you notice it when there's been 3.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, with technology,
I think sometimes when things go wrong to begin with, the next thing that goes wrong feels a lot worse, even if it isn't necessarily. But
yeah,
having the tech
because it
breakdowns,
mounts, doesn't
I
it? You
just
get frustrated because you're already behind. You
yes,
get it
exactly.
sorted. You're like,
Yeah.
good, I can go to. Now that's not working. So you get frustrated. You find a way around it. Yeah, and it's I'm lucky. I haven't had anything fail, touch wood, significantly in a little while. Nothing mission
Yeah.
critical. I've had things go wrong, and I've gone, all right, I've got a spare or I've got a whatever. Funnily enough, I've been rearranging my room. You can't see because I've got the background up, but a big bookcase I had at the back of my room is now gone because it occurred to me that was full largely of DVDs. And
Right.
apart from the special edition box sets, which I want to keep the fancy boxes for, which I've moved them, I took all of my other DVDs and condensed 3 or 4 shelffuls into one of those big DVD wallets that you can put the inlay cards in as well.
Sure.
And then all the plastic boxes away. So, and I went, wow, I've managed to get rid of an entire bookcase and get it down to a shelf and a bit over here.
I've become a big fan of going, oh, well, I've got these films. Do I want to get this film as a DVD? Is it something that is important enough that I want to have a DVD or a Blu-ray copy of it? Or is it something that I'm just happy to have as a streaming thing, which, you know, at that point, you're saving all of the space in the world.
Yeah.
It's just, but it's still there for you if you want it. And I've used things like Audible long enough to know that, by and large, if you buy something, even if they discontinue it, those things still remain in your library. So,
yeah, I've kept things like this. Oh, that's not going to show them. This, my Back to the Future trilogy set from the 30th anniversary, because there's so many extras on there, and if you watch it on streaming, you don't get to see those. And the extras are probably as good as the films in many respects. So
most
things like that, where I've got films I really like, or box sets that come in fancy boxes, like all the Monty Python.
See, I've been getting the, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. I've been getting these things. These are the Blu-ray sets. These aren't not the limited edition ones either, because I've spent so much money on Doctor Who over the years. It doesn't really feel right to spend.
Is Blu-ray that much better than DVD?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think that it would be, but they've really cleaned these up where there's filmed footage, because they filmed a lot on 16mm, and the transfers from 16mm onto DVD were pretty awful. But the transfers the new transfer they've done onto Blu-ray, they're a lot better. So inside these packs, you get DVDs. Each DVD's got a different story on. There are a bunch of special features. There's so many special features and things. Interviews with people who are dead now. These are really great. There is on Monday, the Blake 7 first season is coming out, and I've ordered.
No one tell my dad. Actually, my dad doesn't have a DVD or a Blu-ray player anymore, so he won't be able to do that. My dad bought all of Blake 7 on VHS when it came out, because he's such a fat. He loves Blake 7. I might look into.
I think I had the first season or something.
So are they bringing it all out? It's in a new sort of box set. Is it only Blu-ray?
It's that sort of box set. It's made by the same people. It is only Blu-ray.
Okay. I'll have to find out. He's got something that plays Blu-rays. I don't know that he has now.
It's got all of the thing upgraded. All of the special effects have been upgraded. They've done new shots for all of the ships and things.
Because that would be an absolutely tip-top Christmas present for my dad.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is good. And those collection sets for Doctor Who have just been stunning, and the new features are brilliant. I have talked to one of the guys behind it, because Doctor Who community is actually quite small in the UK. The sort of people who like the classic stuff. So yeah, it's a really nice collector set. So if this Blu-ray version of Blake 7 is anything like that, it's going to be a really, really good box set. So yeah, that should be arriving on Monday.
Yes, yeah.
I'll take one for Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
That would be good. They should do that, but yeah, they haven't.
There's 4 seasons of that, right? If I remember correctly.
Something like that. But each
and a movie.
episode is
and a movie.
each episode is something like an hour and a half, isn't it? They're all
Right, and 4 episodes each or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
minute
yeah,
something's
that
an hour
would
and
be
a half
worth
long, it's a movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's
I've
3
got-
half-hour episodes. What are you talking about?
I've got some of the original Sherlock DVDs that they released, or Blu-rays rather that they released, but I stopped collecting them because in the UK, everything is now on iPlayer. So
True.
there's a point of, well, do I need the special features? Are they that important? And it's kind of impacted me getting stuff in, newer stuff like the latest season of Doctor Who is out. It's 30 quid. No, it's not. It's 50 quid. And I
Good
just
grief,
thought,
they're proud.
why would I spend that much money on what is essentially 8 episodes and
Yeah.
special features that are already on iPlayer or already on YouTube? It doesn't kind of make sense. But at some point, they'll do a bigger box set of some description, because that's what happened with the original series.
I mean, I don't watch iPlayer. I don't use iPlayer. I admit it's good, but I don't have a TV license, so I can't use it.
Yeah.
And so I tend to. The thing is, and I found with streaming services, obviously things come and go. And if you've got certain favourites, I got certain movies that I do like to watch on a whim. And
Yeah.
sometimes you go on and you think, oh, it's not on there. Or maybe it'd be on Amazon, or maybe normally I find it on 1 or 3 platforms that I'm on, but not always. So those things I've kept DVDs for. But yeah, I managed to clear down loads of space, which is good. I'm just trying to. I just decided that nothing was quite working. I've got all this stuff in storage that I hardly touch.
Yeah.
Right, let's thin it down. Let's get. I've only lived in this flat for 3 years, and when I moved in, I had fuck all, apart from my computer and a few bits.
It mounts up quickly, doesn't
Everything
it?
I moved into this place with arrived here in a single transit van, right? And then I ordered furniture from Amazon and other places. So everything else has been since I got. The place is full. I'm like, I feel like a hoarder. So I'm going, no, this is going. I haven't used that for months. Going.
Apart from the DVD collection, and it is a collection, because I've been collecting it for a very, very long time, since they started coming out.
Yeah.
And some audiobooks. I don't buy a lot of stuff for me. I've got a few Terry Pratchett things, a few models of things, stuff like that. But then, again, been buying those over the years. The things that I have bought that are kind of eating me out of space are all work-related. It's all camera stuff, flashes. It's modifiers for flashes, which they're so expensive and they're so bulky, but you need to use them. The product shots I did the other week, which if you're Society 11, you can go and see the examples of. I couldn't have done that without a great big modifier that cost 50 quid. So I had to go and get it. So other than sort of virtual stuff, like a film on Amazon or a digital product or something like that. So today I got a digital product, which was a shader for Blender, which lets you make skin easily.
Yeah.
So that's, brilliant idea. And I'm hoping to use it to do something hopefully a bit special with, but we'll see. It's another London After Midnight thing, because we're doing a lot of 3D with them. But yeah, other than that, I'm not buying a lot of stuff because I don't have the space for it. But
yeah,
there was a point where I just went, no, I can't. I can't do this anymore because there's no room left.
Too bad space isn't as cheap as a hard drive is now.
Well, you know what? It's a hell of a lot more expensive in the UK than it is in the US. I can tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm okay for space because I live here on my own, and I've got this big room, which is officially this is the master bedroom I'm sat in. I don't use it as a master bedroom; it's the office. Then the secondary bedroom, which is a small box. It's bigger than a box room. It's got a double bed in it. That's my bedroom. Yeah. And then I've got a dining room, kitchen combined sort of thing. Kitchen's quite small, big dining room, hallway, bathroom. And most of the stuff I use commonly is in here. The bedroom I've got too many clothes, they got to go. So I am thinning that down. But, and the other room there, I was going, I hardly ever go in there. It's a whole room of the house. What can I do to make it a more usable space? So I've just been rearranging everything. it started off with I'm just going to rearrange a couple of things, and then it started being I need that shelf from that room in here, I need that from here to go somewhere else. But now my
It soon
entire
eats up
flat
into it, doesn't it?
looks like a fucking bomb's hit it. I've got
Yeah.
piles of stuff in corners and things, and pictures to put up, and but you know, I'm like, I just do a little bit at a time. I reckon if I plod along at this, the rate I'm going at the moment, which has been slow because not been feeling well, by Christmas, my flat will actually look quite reasonable and habitable again, and it will function.
Yeah. Well, it's only Mum and I in this house, and it's a average-sized suburban house. You know, average house price band-sized house. And yeah, you know, I've got 46 years worth of shit, and Mum's got 84 years worth of shit. So there's a lot of shit that we don't want to get rid of it because, you know, you do keep these things for a reason, but it still means that we don't actually have a lot of space, even though there's one room that we barely use at all. Yet there's still, you know, a couple of wardrobes and a spare bed in case somebody wants to come and stay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
well, I've got an inflatable bed that fills up
Yeah.
a whole fucking cupboard, but I've got to have it for the like. I mean, my brother's stayed over twice. Another friend's been over once. Hardly ever have a visitor stay, but Jenna slept on it a couple of times on Christmas. So that's.
I always thought that we should turn that bedroom, which is essentially what it is, into a sort of small hobby room or something, and then get a sofa bed rather than something that's there all the time. Because it's not like we have a lot of people coming over on a regular basis. It's like once in a blue moon, and there's all of that space there that we can't use for other stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to do that. But I know what would happen if we did move all of that, everything out of there, and make all of that space. It would just all get filled up with photography stuff again. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I've certainly realised it doesn't matter how much space you give me, I will fill it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now going through a fairly ruthless phase, and it's not quite Mary Kondo level, admittedly, but just things like it's not whether it brings me joy, it's whether I'm really fucking using it or not. I've got some great kit for things that are hobbies. I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
Like, I do a little bit of music production. I don't make a big thing of it. I'm not a musician. I can't play any instruments. But I can get a damn good rave tune out of a Roland MC101 synthesizer, for example.
It's a fun thing to do, isn't it? You know.
And I've got one. And I play with it. But I'm looking at it thinking, I use it twice a year. Like, really, what I should do is sell that, let someone that's going to use it, and just get used to using the DAW on my computer, which is there anytime I want it. So I've got the, funny enough, I've got the Roland out to sell it and box it back up, ready to go away. But
wow,
stick it on eBay later in the week.
But you know that's the sort of thing that you'll sell that, and suddenly something will happen, and you'll go, I wonder if I should get one of these podcast things.
Stream Deck or something like that. Stream Deck,
something like that. Oh,
I've got a Stream Deck.
News that's happening. Ulanzi is. Most people won't have heard of it as a company. They're a company that do a lot of photography stuff. One of the things that they make.
I've heard of them. I bought a set of little filters made by them.
Yeah, you might have done because I.
Yeah.
So one of the things they make is this, which is a really smart little idea. So a lot of cameras have got things that fold up like that, but you can't see the screen from the front of the camera.
Right.
This sits on the top of the camera, and there's a little mirror. That's all it is, and it just reflects the photo up there and down there. It's a really smart idea. Anyway, they're a great little company, and they make some really good stuff. They have got a Stream Deck coming out, their own version of it, which is about half the price of a normal Stream Deck. So that is something to look out for in the coming months if you wanted one and you haven't been able to get hold of one, because I love the things. I think they're brilliant.
I love Stream Deck, although admittedly I don't use it much. I mean, I've got all my.
You've got to really get into the idea of using it, I think. So
the
on
stuff
mine, I've got Photoshop stuff set up on it and video editing stuff set up on it. Yeah.
but I don't stream
And
that much. And what
of course,
streaming I
use mine
do is
twice.
normally share a computer screen and talk while I'm doing it. I'm not really.
Yeah.
We use them at church, and we've got 2 different cameras for 2 different views. We do video presentation, we do slides, we do everything, and we can just press button and just automatically change.
They're brilliant.
Change
They're
the
really
change the actual zoom in on one of the cameras, and
You can chain them together so you can have loads of these things
yeah, we got 3 of
to
them.
control it. Yeah.
Mm.
We got one for
so,
camera
I mean,
1, one for camera 2, and one's the main control. Yep.
I've got 3 of them. Only 2 of them are plugged in, and one of them is the Stream Deck Plus with all the dials on to do the audio stuff with.
Right.
But it's an absolute godsend because I can press a button here and I can mute the voices that are in Discord, for example.
I was
So
going to
if
say,
I-
if you can mute the voices in my head, I'll
In
get it
my
right
head.
now.
Or I can mute the game audio for something that I'm playing, but leave everything else the same. So I'm not getting distracted by the game, but I can still stream the audio of the game to the people who are watching.
Right.
Really smart stuff. It really is. But they're not cheap. This thing is cheaper, and yet I think it could be worth taking a look at if you're doing this sort of stuff. When I was recording the other day, for example, I was playing back CapCut, and I needed people to be able to hear the video that I was making, but I didn't want my microphone to pick up the video when I was playing it. So I've got a button on here that just mutes the mic, and I just had to mute that mic as I was playing it. And again, I'm not editing that video down a lot. I'm just going, all right, I want to do that bit. And it just worked. It works really well. And it means that it speeds up the work that you can do. That's the main thing.
Mm.
Yep. Oh, I need to use something real quick. I'll be right back because I need to make sure I have something with me before we ask a very important
Yeah.
question.
I don't know where mine, but you get sorted out. That's fine.
So I have this evening started thinking, well, what am I going to do now? Because I'm in that period of not knowing what product I should
Yeah.
do next, you know.
I've got several things lined up ready to record, but I haven't felt up to recording, so I haven't done them.
You've not been.
Oh,
You've not been.
Yeah, the
well.
slideshows are all done. I've got all these brilliant things ready to go. I just need to sit and record. I've got about 3 hours worth of stuff to record.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been meaning for ages to run some ads to a product and see if I can get some conversions with it. And it's one of those things I thought, could I do that for a course? Well, what if it doesn't work? I know what ads are like. Sometimes they're great and sometimes they just don't take off at all, you know.
yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people who just don't like them, don't like the idea of running ads anyway. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure I'm not sure if the prospects would like it, if you see what I mean.
sure. I think if you're going to run ads, you really need to run them to landing pages that lead to the product, so you've got every chance of capturing the email out the gate.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
many people need several introductions to a product quite often. So if you can get email or whatever else, I tell you what, some of the retargeting on Facebook is so aggressive at the moment. Today I was scrolling down.
It's because they kill cookies. That's why.
Yeah, so I'm scrolling down through Facebook and I see an ad. It is an ad for a power supply system, and I quite often I look at those things because I just like the concept of ways to live easier off grid. It's something that appeals to me for the future. So I had to click on it. I thought, wonder how much they are. Went to the site, had a look, 500 quid. Right, that's interesting. Close the page. My Facebook now, that was earlier today. I've had about 16 different providers of that type of equipment pinging up on Facebook now.
Wow. Well, you know what you can do if you want to actually get adverts for a specific thing. You go to Facebook ad library and search for that specific thing and visit a few of the pages, and your IP will get picked up in there. Oh, this person visited this page.
Yeah.
And then all the retargeting will start on that.
So it's just incredible. They show me I click on one thing, and now I bet if I go to Facebook, let me refresh now. I wonder how long it'll be before I get a power bank. These are like the jumbo power banks that are designed to run computers, and you can get solar things for them as well. So I'll just refresh. I'm just going to scroll down and have a look. That's closed, which is not uncommon. I get a lot of closed ads.
I mean, I get a lot of. I've just today, for some reason, I've got a load of.
Oh, there we go. Didn't take long.
Stuff.
I've just been offered one that's currently being crowdfunded. A multifunctional high-capacity portable power station. I never get those things. I've been on one site today, and this is all I'm seeing on Facebook now.
Today, I've just, and it is literally just today, I've been getting a load of dating stuff. I don't know why. I don't know where it's come from. Again, I visited one website somewhere along the line, and they're targeting that website.
Your mom.
It's not. She's
your mom got on your computer system and said, "My boy needs a date."
Yeah, that's definitely not happened because she had no idea how to use the internet.
Maybe she was on the phone.
And another one.
There's been times when she's handed me her iPad and said, "My Wi-Fi's not working," and I thought, "What? Well, no, you're connected to the internet." And she, no, the Wi-Fi, and she just doesn't understand.
Yeah, I know. My mum's the same. You know, it was like we have a family corner Thursday. And a little while ago, she kept having problems with her computer, and so she finally decided she was going to get a new device, and she decided to go for a Kindle. And I went, yeah, the new Kindle tablets are really good. You'll do fine with it. And the only thing is, if it goes wrong, I can't really help you because I don't have my way around them. This Thursday, my Zoom isn't working on it. It's telling me I need to install something else. I'm going, well, install it then? Or anyway, my brother went, I'm coming over at the weekend, Mum. Don't worry, I'll fix it. So it'll take. If I had the device in front of me, probably 30 seconds. I did suggest you contact Amazon
figure it out,
because they're very good as well. But
they are actually. They're surprisingly good considering, you know, big really multinational company and everything. I phoned them up for a couple of things, and it's always been, yes, we can fix that for you. And they've got processes in, 90% of the problems that you get with call centers is because the people who are in the call centers don't actually have the ability to solve the problem that you need them to solve.
Right.
If you can solve that problem, and Amazon have seemed to have done that, then
they have a lot of stuff. Yeah,
you get much better customer retention and customer satisfaction. Not that we talk about those things because we don't have customer retention in Iron.
It's kind of chilly today.
But for different reasons, it's a different thing. But I mean, you think what Amazon has become? It's mental, isn't it? I remember just books.
Everything.
That's how old I am.
I bought a book from Amazon the other day, and it felt so weird because it's the one thing I never buy from there is a book. But I had to send it to someone. It was easier to just send it through there.
I remember when Jeff Bezos had hair.
Here's the thing, right? Even though I've got the internet and I can find everything I want on the internet, finding it is still a pain in the tits. Because, number one, if you use Google now is shit. It's like it gives you the 10 results it wants you to see. Bing, a bit better. Then I've got some other search engines. But by the time I've farted around with all that, or I can go onto Amazon, like what I wanted to look into, I was looking at sewing machines. Because I want to make some stuff, and I keep losing weight, and I'm fed up with throwing clothes away. I thought maybe I'd get a sewing machine, learn how to take things in a bit, and then as I lose weight, I can pull things in. And then I worked it out and thought I'd have to pull a lot of things in to make the money back on a sewing machine, so I didn't bother. But I did buy a book because I didn't know anything about sewing machines, so I bought a book from Amazon. Bloody brilliant! Teaches you how they work, all the stitches, what all the different types are. What the difference between a digital and an analog sewing machine is, what these features are. So by the end of going through it, I felt like quite the expert. I've been through a book. Here comes Volker.
Hello, Volker. It's a
He's
good idea
traveling.
having a book or something like that.
Well, the other
Um,
nice thing with a book is I spend too much time in front of my screen as it is. I'm in
That's
front of the computer
true.
a long time. Anything
Yeah.
I can do that gets me away from the screen is a good thing. So books on certain topics that I'm interested in that I can sit and get away from and just sit and read and take my time over. So I've still got quite a big book collection.
This is another benefit I find of audiobooks is that I can put them on in the car and I can go somewhere and be out in the world and not, like you said, not be sat in front of a screen all the time,
Yeah.
but still actually feel like I'm achieving something by reading, or getting something done. Or I mean, podcasts are great if you want to learn bits and bobs. Oh, there's what's that thing called where it just summarizes books? Bibble or something like that.
Oh, yeah, there's a few like that. The books.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be when there was one that came out. I can't remember what it's called, but Kurt and I were both subscribed to it for a while.
Yeah.
There's Kurt again.
Switch from my iPad to my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I
kind of
use-
useful if you've got books that they've got in their system. They're really useful. But
Well, I must
many
admit,
books in their system.
I had read a couple of Seth Godin's books and liked them.
All right. Yeah.
But I was very much in the opinion he takes a long time to make the point. Like he gives you
Yeah.
when you get the summaries, they're like 5 minutes and they cover all the key points in his
Everything.
book. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy his full books anymore. I'm just going to get the summaries. And I do that with a lot of authors.
Yeah.
So,
Some of the things, especially when you're looking at kind of economic stuff, economic policies, and economics, I suppose, where actually you don't need to be an expert on economics to understand the basics behind it, because actually money and moving money around is fairly simple at a basic level, and so some of those things are really good to get the abridged versions of, shall we say, because you get the information and then you know that you can go back and get the information again very quickly if you need to for whatever reason.
I know
there's
there's a market for those things
complicated.
because I make a lot of my living by putting out short read. Because I understand that people just want the key information as concisely as possible. You might want the odd illustration and story in there that you could optionally leave out. But I mean, I got some mammoth marketing books, and I think honestly, you could probably say everything that says in 10 pages, everything important.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. I think that's one of the reasons why ChatGPT is so good, because actually that cuts away a lot of the nonsense, and it will just, okay, how do I do this? I mean, it tells you how to do it. I mean, I've learned how to use Blender, a lot of Blender stuff, just by asking ChatGPT. Anything technical that you want to do, the chances are that it either knows or it's close enough that you can kind of figure out the rest of it yourself.
Yeah, Kurt and I were chatting earlier in the week because we were using Claude quite a lot for code stuff, and Kurt said, and I've already done the same.
By the way, have you noticed Claude is getting the rate limits seem to be decreasing?
Yep,
quite dramatically.
That was a couple of issues. One, constantly hitting rate limits, and then two, ChatGPT brought out one of those. Which one of the models it is? I can never remember. Is it O1 Mini? Is it that one? That's really good at code.
O1 Mini is actually pretty good at code. O1 is the thing that's really good at code, but Mini is better than a lot of stuff.
It's really good at O1 Mini is great at basic code, but don't ask it to reason anything out. It's shit. But if you can use one of the other models for that. And I've been quite impressed with ChatGPT's knowledge on certain programming languages that I wanted to look at. I've been learning Godot, which is officially a game development engine, but you can use it for other things. And learning that, I watched a few YouTube videos, read a few things, and asked ChatGPT. And if you ask the latest versions, sometimes it will give you wrong information because it will be referring to version 3, not 4. But if you always specify, I am using version 4, I need this to work in version 4, and you say that about 3 times. Yeah,
that's the same. And actually, now that the search stuff is better in 4.0 and 4,
yeah,
and because I've asked it a couple of times, do this in Blender 4.2, which is the latest version, and that has differences in 4.2 to other versions, and it gets that right. And 4.3 is out November 19th, so again, it's going to be able to search the web and get that information in rather than having to do anything else with it. But I do worry about some of the things that code-wise that have been built on the back of Claude that are now going to suffer because of rate limits. So there's a thing called Bolt.new. Have you seen that?
no,
It's a coding platform. So you tell it what you want, it builds it for you. It's really
oh,
good.
actually, yes, no,
Very
we did
quick.
look at that. The one
There's
that hosts
there's
everything
a lot
for
of
you.
YouTube videos on it at the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
But that uses Claude. Now somebody's forked it because it's an open source thing, so they forked it off, and you can use whatever you want with it. So you can run it with ChatGPT or one of the free things. But the basic version of it uses Claude and is going to get stuck at some point. It's because you run out of processing time with it, and because I've been using Claude a lot recently doing the course because it writes better prose.
Yeah.
And it just, ChatGPT, when it runs out, it gives you an alternative version that you can use. Claude, when it runs out, you can't use Claude usually for 2 to 4 hours. And that's
and sometimes longer.
Yeah, sometimes longer, yes.
Sometimes longer. And I found what we were doing quite well. I'm going to speak for me. I know Kurt was doing similar things. We were jumping between the two because of rate limits. What I do now, I predominantly use ChatGPT because I don't really hit the limits on that so much. If I'm doing writing and I want that, I will do it all in GPT-4 with the assistants, especially now we've got Canvas. That is a really nice thing where you can go just rewrite that paragraph. And then I take the final thing, give that to Claude and say,
get the
improve
grammar
this,
right,
please. And it does a cracking job. And you've only made a couple of token calls to Claude in order to do that.
Right.
Much better idea. Much better.
Same with coding. I think depends on the languages and things. There is some stuff Claude definitely is better at.
It doesn't seem to make quite as many basic mistakes.
Brilliant.
Really? I've noticed it doesn't seem to make very basic mistakes that you kind of have to tell ChatGPT, this is what's happening and this is why it's not working. And you've got to go through iteration. Whereas Claude tends to get it right pretty much straight away. It's little stuff it'll overlook.
01 Mini right now is what I've been using the most of because once the code gets to a certain size, Claude won't output it all. You have to bust it up into chunks or say, why don't you give it to me in multiple different files? Okay, I'll give you this file, this file, this file, this file. And I'm like, I want simple, one PHP page. That's it. That's all I want. Makes it simple and easy.
Sure. Well, that's why I think Bolt's quite good because it does the whole thing. So it will install dependencies and stuff for you. It will, it will go, you need this file and you need that file. I'll do that bit for you. And you don't have to worry about it. You'll essentially at the end, you just download it and upload it and it's ready to go. Unless it is something very complicated and you can deploy that to whatever system there is that they're using it. And there's a couple of seemingly good ones out there. So
this is one of the tools that I've created, and it's how to create your own WordPress plugin, very similar to the Dashboard Coach. So you give your plugin the name,
I'm familiar with all of those boxes. Yes.
And then admin menu, exactly. Plugin description, the version, the author name, author URL. But here's the main content. So I'll log in here. What's the worst someone can hack my site? I have malware on it. Good luck. So I've been doing some just rudimentary testing. And of course, you can iframe complete pages here.
Yeah.
Such as Snapifier pages inside. So you can create, makes it a lot easier. And then, of course, you can pass information to and from. But I really love the idea of being able to put in your own content, your own videos, pictures, whatever. There's the main content, and then you can add subpages. And then each subpage can have its own information. Or you can iframe a page.
Iframe stuff. It's a really good idea.
Makes
I did toy with the idea of starting to do WordPress plugin production again, because I've done it in the past. I mean, I've coded bespoke plugins for specific websites when I was a web designer. So it's not something I'm unfamiliar with, and PHP is something I'm pretty comfortable with still.
Right.
But then I looked at things like Bolt and looked at writing it with Claude and GPT, and I just thought the updates on things like that are going to kill you.
Yes.
So that's not a good idea. And then I thought, well, look, if you really wanted to, you don't need WordPress anymore, because you can go to something like Bolt or ChatGPT and say, I want to make a blog. Make this blog for me, and it will make the blog for you. And it'll do it all in flat files, or you can choose one of the systems that take from flat files to publish stuff. And that means that you don't have any of the overhead of the database, which is always the thing that screws WordPress sites up in terms of speed. It's always your initial server's response time and then the database. And so that whole idea of having a WordPress site where you'll do it's kind of redundant now.
Right.
And right now, it still powers about 40% of the internet. But right now, I think we're probably seeing the last moments where that's happening. And I'm not sure WordPress will be a thing.
I think it will continue
so far down the line.
It won't be as big of a thing. I think it will go back to its core. It will be a good blogging platform.
It might be. Yeah.
Half the thing with WordPress, WordPress is really fucking good at what it does. It's a good blog. You can't argue with that. It's all the bolt-ons that people try and do to turn it into a funnel builder and a CRM.
Really good. It is really good at making basic websites as well. If you want a client website, WordPress was always the kind of the go-to thing. But you've got to have something else on top of it as well. Now, I use Oxygen Builder. Oxygen was built because they wanted like a WordPress version of Webflow, which Webflow itself is a brilliant tool if you want to use something like that. But I'm always have worried that there are parts of it that are too complicated for most people. And I know that every client that I've given a WordPress site to, probably about 5 days later, has come back and said, can you do this for me? Not because they're not capable of doing it, because they don't want to do it.
They don't want to. That is the big thing. I don't do much client work. I used to years ago.
Yeah.
I do the odd little bit here and there. I'll pick up a job that's just too good to say no to. Someone will want something. And I'll go, well, I can do it for you if you want. You'll get it cheaper somewhere else. But if you want it done right, this is my price. Take it or leave it. I don't care because I don't like doing client work. And some of them I land. And on those, I use NicePage for everything because, and here's a great thing. I've built several. And you build it as a blog, you build it as everything else. And then when you actually talk to them, they're not going to maintain the blog and do regular posts. They're not going to do anything like that.
Nope.
And I say to them, well, in that case, I'll build an HTML version because I can do that at the push of a button. It will load quicker. Everything will be super fast.
Everything's the same. Yeah.
If you're not going to use it as a blog where you're going to do a blog post every single day, week, month, or whatever, so it's effectively going to become a static website, which a lot of things do. then turn it to HTML and have the speed increase and no security risks.
It is a massive difference, actually. I think that HTML makes over anything which has got a database in the back end. Now, I think it was last week's Friday Live. I did ask a question. Does anybody know of anything where that will basically let you run a shop using more static files?
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason for this. It's because I've got the London After Midnight website working the way that I need it to work. So it's got all the funnel stuff in. It's got WooCommerce in, everything like that. It is dog slow. I have done everything I can to speed it up, and I cannot speed it up. And it's slow because I'm using WooCommerce.
WooCommerce.
And I knew that was going to happen, but I needed something quick that I understood that I could build with quickly, because I didn't have a lot of time to do it. So now I've got a little bit more time to kind of sit back and go, well, that's done. Can I do something else? And I'm actually thinking, can I turn that into a static site and have some sort of cart on the back end that is not as insanely hungry as WooCommerce is? But it's interesting looking at some of these things. I mean, most people wouldn't even start to think about them, but there are blogging platforms out there that are run from static files, and it's whether or not you want to do that or something else. But I want AI to build everything.
Yeah, what I did with AI is I deleted almost every WordPress version I ever had and replaced it, especially with HTML, because those flat file blogging systems, and HTML is brilliant. There was finally the development picked up again, and they're using Markdown. That means I can directly import the text, the content from ChatGPT or Claude into HTML without the further step of transferring it into either HTML or plain text. So that saves a lot of time.
I can imagine it does. And again, that's one of those things where you just get stuck at the design process with a website because a client doesn't want to do the work, and why should they? But
the only disadvantage of HTML is that it has not many themes, but therefore you have Claude or ChatGPT
to make the thing for you. Yeah,
I sometimes think having less themes is good. Sometimes I'll go into NicePage to build something, and I'll look at the templates, and I can spend an hour just looking through that in template, or I could have built the thing in that time. And what you were saying earlier on WordPress development and stuff, I only have one WordPress plugin for sale now, which is one that actually got written as a result of somebody saying, "I've got a problem. There's nothing that does it." And I went, "Are you sure there's got to be?" We went for the repository. There were things it claimed to, but were shit. And I went, "That's not difficult." And the hooks it uses, I know, are core hooks that aren't going to change in WordPress, or it's highly unlikely they will. And ChatGPT wrote the entire plugin in an evening. And that was over a year and a half ago. That was in ChatGPT 3.5.
And your brother is very happy about it.
My brother was delighted because it did everything he wanted. I was delighted because, I stuck it on my Gumroad and he did all the promotion. I did give it a mailing, but I didn't have an audience for it. He did. But he was there going, no, I'm going to have to hire a developer. And I said, that is such a simple thing. And if you do one problem, one solution plugins, where there really is nothing to go wrong, or if it changes, it's going to be very quick to put right. So that's all I mean.
I think that is the problem. The problems the plugins that go wrong are the ones that try and do everything.
Yes.
Yeah. And I try not to use any plugins if I can avoid it. You've got to use certain security things, but other than that, my plugin stack is like 3 different plugins, and 2 of those are Oxygen.
Yeah. Well, on any WordPress site I've got left, it's the NicePage plugin, because that'll be what the theme's built with now. Malcare,
Malcare is a requirement for me. Yes.
And I've got, thankfully, I now have really whittled my WordPress sites down. I had less than 5. So my limited license I bought, Malcare or whatever it is, it covers it. It's 5 sites.
All of them. Yeah.
And then other things, I've been moving away from work. I've never been a WordPress fan. I don't make any secret of it. I know, I maintain what I say. It's a good blogging platform. I've really fallen in love with blogging on Medium. It's just so easy.
You know, I can understand that.
Anywhere on any device.
Yeah.
If I log in, I can do it from an iPad if I want to. Not that I do. But and that to me I was like, oh yeah. And these days I don't chase SEO anyway. So the nice thing is if you write good Medium content, it ranks without you doing anything. Because they do it. So I'm like, well,
but isn't it interesting how we've got here? Because first of all, it was, well, you could have a website, but you've got to program it, and you've got to learn how to do HTML and all of that. And then it was, oh, there are these sites that let you blog.
Blogger.
You could log into the site of Blogger, and eventually, the WordPress site itself, the original WordPress. .com is
WordPress.org.
Is it org? Isn't org the download one, and then com's the other
Com
one?
is
right. You're
correct.
The
host. Is the host? Yes.
And things like that, and Tumblr and things, And then we all moved away from that and went, no, we've got to have our own things. We've got to have control of our own things. And now we're going back to going, well, actually, it doesn't matter who has.
And then we'll
control of
do it the other way. This is what happens. I've been online 25 plus years. I've watched it happen. You just flip flop between, I'll do it on this SaaS platform. Oh no, I don't like them having all the control. I'm going to take some.
We used to, my day job, our software, it's ASP, so you can install it on Windows. It's a .NET type of web file. The problem is a lot of the companies that install it didn't put enough butt behind it, whether it be RAM or hard drive space or whatever. We require SQL. So you put SQL and an IIS program on the same server, it drags it down. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And so several years ago, we started going, okay, the newest version that we're coming out, the brand new version, is going to be SaaS only. You cannot self-host. And we added some features. That were very nice to it. So now we're having people pay. They're not paying extra for hosting, but it gives us a lot more control. They quit paying, or all of a sudden they're very slow. All of a sudden they're like, how come our site's not working? Well, where's the money?
Yeah.
Because whether they self-hosted or rehosted, we didn't change the price. So a lot of them are like, oh yeah, we don't need to buy that extra SQL anymore. We don't need to do this. We don't need to open up our network.
That's a really good way of getting people to move across the SaaS, isn't it?
Yep.
It's interesting. Actually, is very interesting how some companies it seems like a counterintuitive thing to do, and a lot of stuff in business seems like a counterintuitive thing to do. They are going to provide X service for you for free when you buy this product. So a good example of that is DaVinci Resolve. It's a completely free editing program. You can pay for some upgraded features, but it's a one-time fee. But other than that, completely free editing thing, which is used in Hollywood. You would think, well, why aren't they charging multiple thousands of pounds for this, like Avidar, like Adobe would, if
Adobe would, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason is because that's not why they made it in the first place. They made it so that you would go and buy their hardware. And it's clearly working for them. But it seems like a really counterintuitive thing to do. So it's entirely possible that you will save money as a company by providing a service to people, because you then don't have to go and fix their problems when they have problems. So you don't have to do the legwork,
Well, that was the whole reason, because a lot of our frontline support, they were getting hit with questions that were performance issues. And they're like,
Yeah.
we can't fix this. That's not our issue. You need to add more RAM. You need to clear out your log files because you're building up to 5 gig worth of log file data, which you don't need. My hard drive's full. We can't help you. We can't help you because your hard drive's full. That's on you. And
that's
so
why I stopped
made
doing
that
WordPress
decision.
development, because customers don't know how to run WordPress. And they'll say, this isn't working. And you'll go, right, you know what? You only paid $50 for it, but I'll do you the favor. I'll log in. I'll go in. I'll have a. You log into their WordPress. They got 800 fucking plugins on there. They don't know what half of them do. And you go,
or they've had an SEO expert come in, expert in inverted commas, so large they have to stand outside the building, you know.
Yeah.
And they've gone, oh, you need to install all of these things on your, and they just screwed the site up completely.
Yeah.
You know, this reminds me of a story about a guy who paid someone to do create a funnel for them.
Yeah.
And the guy never did.
Didn't he?
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, and did he get his money back? Let's find out.
Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet?
The cunt hasn't given anything back yet.
Of course he hasn't. It's going to be the same next week too, but, you know, tune in just in case. That was.
Has George Wigan given David Kirby his money back yet?
There we
And
go.
he still hasn't. All right, I'm
I
going to get out
like
here.
that song.
Huh?
It's a really good song.
It is.
Udio made that. Oh, well, I mean, obviously, we wrote the words.
There's a new Suno out. I haven't tried it yet, but
Yeah, I haven't
Suno 4 is
tried
out.
it yet because I've not been well. And so there's lots of things that have happened the last 2 weeks that I've gone, oh, I need to sit and have a look at that. The problem with AI, it happens so quickly.
It moves so quickly.
Well, I'm going to move really quickly and get out of here. I'll see y'all later.
See you next time,
See you,
Kurt.
Kurt.
All right, bye.
Yes. WordPress development.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd be talking about that tonight. But,
I keep it simple
yeah.
now. With the only plugin I've got for sale, I literally don't get support tickets for it. But if I did, I just go, well, look, I'm not going to do anything. I don't know if it'll be something else you've got on there. It'll be another plugin that's causing a problem. And then if you can't work it out, I'll give you
Deactivate all your prod plugins.
Yeah.
Reactivate them one by one. See which one breaks it. That's the only way
exactly.
you can do it. You know, I want to leave all of that behind. I still do a couple of websites, and I don't charge for doing those websites because I've done them for friends.
What's that noise?
I think it's
Polka dragging bodies around.
I've done them for friends, and you know, things like London After Midnight, things like Harlequin Kitchen. They're people that I want to help, and the reason that I can do it is because I'm making money somewhere else. But I wouldn't do it if I had to. If it was a job, I've done it before. I hated it.
I hated trying.
Nearly destroyed me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was why I got into doing what I do, because I was doing client work and I was doing coding, and then realizing that these fuckers were then going out and selling this thing and making so much money. And I was happy.
Really
I got well paid, but and then I thought, why don't I write and do this stuff myself? And that was the start of it. That was a big part of the start of it for me.
That's really interesting, because at the point where I met Chris, I was trying to get out of doing web design and running my own company doing web design and videos and things, content creation basically. I was trying to get out of doing that and into consulting, because I thought, hey, consulting, I don't have to actually give anybody anything. You know, I don't have to. I just have to help people do the things that they need to do. I don't need to to have these deliverables that are killing me making them. And it was when and so when Chris came along and said, "Do you want to run this list?" I just stopped doing any client work at all, which was so incredible just to be able to live off writing again. I hadn't done that for years, so
Mm.
it was nice to be able to do something that I'm semi good at, But even that
That's
I don't
the
need
thing.
to do anymore because it's
If
all
you can
done
do
with
things that you're good
ChatGPT.
at, and if you enjoy them, because there are
Yeah.
some things I'm good at, but I don't really enjoy doing, and I
So,
had to learn
look,
that.
the London After Midnight stuff was all stuff that I enjoyed doing, and I wanted to learn 3D, and I've always wanted to do it and haven't had the chance. It's given me an opportunity to do it, so it was worthwhile
I
doing
like
it.
projects
And then Harlequin stuff, I really want to do photos with the things, which was the reason for getting into doing it in the first place. But and we'll do it at some point. Perry lives 2 hours away, so it's not an easy thing to set up. But yeah, again, it's things that I want to achieve. If I can find a way of doing that and helping somebody with their business at the same time, I tend to do it for free. But there's not a lot I want to achieve in that realm at the moment, so it's got to be something really special that comes along. You go, actually, yeah, that'd be a really good thing to get involved with.
All right. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, you're not going to be anymore because we've done an hour, so we're going to say goodbye. Boom.